to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is the founder of Fairview, no other than Mr. Sasha Mereu.
How's it going?
Fabulous, fabulous like you, Mr. Sasha. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Sasha Mereu, and I am actually a co-founder of a company called Fairview. My co-founder's name is Telson, and we are two musicians who met way back in middle school band. And in looking at the state of the music industry currently, we decided that we wanted to do something good for musicians, for artists, and to help them out because they are really struggling these days. So we are in the process of fundraising to build a digital platform that is going to help bring all musicians up together, and we are hoping to add value back to art and music, because as of right now it seems like it has been very commoditized.
Indeed, Mr. Sasha Moreau, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank you.
sharing
Thank you.
your knowledge to the world. How would you describe the current state of the music industry today?
So, uh, amazing question, and also a very complicated one. So, in terms of the music industry, the way that it used to work was that you would write a record, and then you would go out on tour. After recording the record, it would release, and you would go on tour in support of that. And musicians were able to get money to pay their bills via record sales and also via touring. And so that would be tickets and that would be merchandise, and everything like that. It was also very complex when it came to record deals and how that works, and a lot of musicians were getting screwed. But there used to be record sales. And with the rise of digital streaming, being the primary way that we are now listening to music and discovering new music, that is really kind of a thing of the past now. So the state of the music industry is, even though it is the music industry, the musicians are not the ones who are the driving force behind that. They are not the ones who have the power. It has kind of become the middle management executive industry, when it comes to the middlemen who are taking a huge cut out of the profits and only giving pennies on the dollar to the people who actually create the music.
Indeed, totally agree with you, Mr. Sasha. How do you think has changed the most in the industry over the last decade?
Well, definitely, it was the rise of online streaming, and this started back with Napster, of course, file sharing computer to computer, when people were able to start downloading music without buying it. It used to be that you would have to go to a music store. And you would have to buy a record, like, and pay for the entire thing, whether it was vinyl or CD, or I'm old enough to remember buying cassettes and stuff like that. Um, but you would have to buy the whole thing to listen to the songs that you wanted to hear, and sometimes you would discover interesting tracks that you didn't know were on there, and sometimes there were really only a couple of good songs. But that changed when Napster came on the scene, and then when that was taken down, I know Metallica had a huge issue with that, and they felt like they were having their music stolen, and people were listening to their stuff and downloading it for free. Whatever you feel like thinking about that is fine. But Napster was taken down, and it was immediately replaced with Kazaa and with LimeWire, and this kept going. And eventually, that led to the creation of Spotify. And so, the biggest change in the last decade has been that Spotify, and platforms like it, but Spotify is definitely the largest. They are the ones who are in control of music in terms of us listening to it and how we discover new things. And the business model that they are using is really kind of screwing musicians, because rather than getting album sales, if you're spending $10 on a CD or $20 on a CD or a record or something like that, you don't even have to purchase the single. You don't have to pay 99 cents for a song like you used to be able to on iTunes. You pay a subscription fee, or you can listen for free with ads, in which case you're having your information sold. And you can just have any music all the music all day long and not have to pay for it. And that subscription fee that you pay is then distributed among all of the eligible artists who are on that particular platform. So it dilutes the profits hugely so.
So, Mr. Sasha, what's the big difference of a Spotify to Fairview?
So Fairview is as of right now, it's a concept. It is we've started a company. We are a benefit corporation, and our view is to create a digital platform that is going to be optimized for musicians and bands and artists to be able to create new revenue streams. And how we're going to do that is by offering three services. It'll be a subscription service, but not with a high subscription price tag. We're not talking 40 or $50 a month. We're talking stuff that actual musicians can afford. I've been in the music industry for the last 20 years, and money is always an issue. So the three services are live streaming, media on demand, and then an e-commerce piece of that to be able to sell merchandise via an e-storefront. And these are services which all musicians need. They all have, and they are paying for different services. And we want to centralize this and do it all together. And the big difference in between Spotify and Fairview and what we are hoping our platform will become is that we are not going to be dictating how much you as an artist should be charging. We are not going to say your music is worth 0.0023 cents per stream, which is what Spotify's deal is with artists who have monetized. A 1/2000th of a cent is what a musician gets per time that someone listens to their song for more than 30 seconds. We are going to allow the fans and the bands to be able to set that price together on the free and open market. So you could charge whatever you wanted to live stream your show. You're playing a show, let's say in Atlanta, and you've got fans in San Francisco, and you know that they're not going to be able to travel, but they would absolutely see your show if they had the means to do so. So with Fairview, once our platform is up and running, you can put a camera, a video camera on the band. You can hit the button on our website, and you will be able to stream that and charge digital tickets to have your fans attend your performance. And it can be whatever you want to do. And so it's going to create a stronger connection between the band and between their fans. That's what we're hoping.
Looking forward for that, Mr.
Thank you.
Sasha. And thank you for your breakthrough for helping musicians out there. Do you feel independent artists have more opportunities now than in the past?
Oh, that's a complicated question. I on one hand, I want to say no, because there is so much out there. There are so many things. There's so many artists, and there is so much noise. Um, uh, the marketplace is incredibly competitive. Um, but that being said, the fact that you and I are even having this conversation today, I think, is evidence that yes, there are more opportunities because of the internet. Geography no longer really enters into it. And if you recorded a record or a demo or something back in the 80s, you physically had to tour to the other side of the country, or you could send it via the mail, like just the post, and get it into the people's hands. And now the opportunity for discovery is so much greater. So I would say independent artists have more opportunities now, but because there are so many out there, you have to be very smart, you have to have a plan, and you have to be persistent. You don't blow up overnight. Maybe one or two people do, but that's not really what happens, because there is so much noise, and we pay with our attention these days. And so you have to do something to be able to get people's attention, and it's hard. It's absolutely hard. Every musician, it's not enough now to just write amazing songs or record good music or play shows. You also have to be a creator. You have to know how to edit video. Have to know how to direct things and how to frame everything. And then you have to understand about marketing and how hashtags work on each of the different platforms. It's a little crazy. So yes and no is the answer to that. Both
Yes,
both.
yes, and no, indeed. So, what role do social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram play in shaping music careers today?
They play a huge part, and it's because they offer people the chance to be able to connect where you would not normally be able to do so. Um, Social media, for all of its for all of its challenges, and I'm not huge on social media necessarily. We are trying to get our company out there and doing a bunch of things and making videos and doing interviews, but social media itself, at its core, without algorithms that are exploitative, without data brokerage where they are selling your information to third parties and then compromising security, without all of those complications, I like the idea of being able to connect with someone who I met once on tour and then foster a friendship or a deeper relationship because of that with my fans. So I think it's a net gain when it comes to being a creative, being a musician, playing in a band, and being able to get my art and my music out in front of an audience that would not otherwise have the opportunity unless I happened to tour through their town.
Mr. Shasha, how has the rise of AI and digital production changed the way music is made and consumed?
Uh, so this is There are definitely 100% many much more articulate people to be able to ask about that. I am not a tech wizard myself, but I can absolutely tell you that AI, just like every other facet of life right now, is absolutely affecting the way that music is written and distributed and taken care of. There are as simple as sort of remixing. I know that Spotify has just introduced in their super premium tier, or whatever the highest paying one is, uh, that if you do that and you want to have your music on Spotify, musicians now have to agree to have their music remixed without their permission. And there are people who can do that. There's AI that will go in and you will say, I want this song done in such and such format, or done in the style of the Beach Boys or something along those lines. And I've seen a bunch of videos online where what if Metallica's Black Album was written by the Beach Boys? And then they had that sort of thing where AI had gone through and had put things together and changed it. Is it interesting? It absolutely is. But the issue is that the artists who have created that work are not being compensated, and we need to figure out a way to be able to balance that out together. Because the art is not, it's not made in a vacuum. It's not just something that happens. That is someone's life. That is someone's livelihood, and there needs to be some sort of a responsibility for us to be able to do that. I'm not anti-technology. I have Chat GPT. I use that in my professional life, but I do think that we need to sort of figure out how we are going to support the people who are creating art rather than try to replace them for something that is free.
Indeed, people, and let's support Fervu for that. Do you
Thank
think
you.
record labels are still necessary for success, or can the artist truly thrive independently?
Okay, that's an amazing question. Um, I am in full disclosure. I play lead guitar for a punk rock band. We're called United Defiance. We are based out of the San Francisco Bay Area, like East Bay, Oakland, Walnut Creek, around there. We are on a label, and our label is it's called Thousand Islands Records, and ours is a little bit different because of the punk rock thing. It is a sort of a more of a handshake agreement. It's like a DIY thing where it's a bunch of passionate people who all love the same music coming together, and they'll help us out with distribution. They'll help us out with costs of pressing vinyl and such. But it's not like a traditional record label. I think we are coming to the point to where most musicians, because of what we were talking about previously, that everyone has to be a creator, they have to be a director, they have to be a video editor, that they have started to get all of the skills necessary to be able to do the function of a record label, which really is distribution. It really is, um, it used to be a label would come along and say, hey, we like your stuff, we're going to make you huge, here's a big cash advance, go record a record. And that was how you did that. Recording studios have gotten smaller and more efficient, so much so that I've got GarageBand in my phone, and you can absolutely do a full record just in GarageBand, just on your phone, just in some small, using a free app that you download that's open source. So record labels, I think, they're treading water. They need to do something to be able to bring themselves in line with being good for musicians and having a symbiotic relationship, as opposed to something that is more predatory. Having a musician who is in your catalog signing what's called a 360-degree contract is a horrible idea. A 360-degree contract, briefly, it just is basically, because you're a musician on my label, anything that you touch, I'm going to take a cut of that, and that goes towards things that are not even music related. Let's say that you go and do a movie. Well, whatever you're paid for that, because you're in my catalog, I'm going to take a cut of whatever you're earning for the movie. And it's predatory. It's not right. There's definitely a question of ethics, which I think record labels need to look themselves in the mirror and figure out what they're going to do. Because if not, we're just going to leave them behind.
Very well said, Mr. Sasha. Very well said.
Thank you. I'm loving the applause track.
So, Mr. Sasha, as the founder of Fairview, what will be your short-term and long-term goals?
Okay, so short-term goals. Amazing question on that. We are currently in our fundraising phase. It is going to take us about $1 million, 1.5 million, to get to beta testing. We are going to need to figure out how to raise those funds. We are doing so by reaching out to all musicians, and rather than going after one or two or three super rich investors and saying, "Hey, we need $500,000 on this, and we'll trade you this." We are trying to say, "Hey, you got two musicians here with an idea. We've been working in the industry for the last 20 years in the trenches with you, doing exactly the same thing. I know what it's like to be in a van and to do a show to a half empty bar and hope to make enough money to have gas to get to the next town and continue, but we still do it." What we want to do is to raise enough funds by asking musicians out there to support us all together. If 500,000 musicians each gave us $5, that would take us right where we needed to be, and we could get this thing ready to go and have it built. We have a team that is standing by for us to be able to build these various components of this platform, and we would like to get that launched out. So short term, we would like to find the proper funding to be able to make this thing happen. And long term, really the sky is the limit, because we would like to get we are approaching a certain number of bands for beta testing. We would like to see and make sure that everything is working properly, and then once everything is launched, we really would like to give the power back to musicians to be able to, whatever the phase of your career is, we think Fairview is going to be helpful. If you are a new and emerging band, it can help by gaining fans, by having you interact with them. And because on your particular, what we are calling a channel, we're calling it a view, right? Um, on your view, you can do whatever you feel like doing. You can charge a subscription. If you have sponsors from elsewhere, whether it's YouTube or Twitch or whatnot, you can bring them with that. There's not going to be any platform advertising for Fairview itself. We are not going to take anyone's money and then say, "Hey, you should look at this." We're going to use algorithms that are not um, they're not going to manipulate what you see. They're going to reflect actually what you want. And so as we're doing that, if you're new, you will be able to connect with a bunch of other people, and hopefully we're looking forward to having some really cool collaborations happen that maybe would not otherwise do that, because when you put everything online, when you start doing live streaming, all of a sudden geographic location and venue capacity disappears, and that opens the doors for us to be able to do some pretty amazing stuff. If you're mid-career and you're going on tour, and you're then going to be able to charge for digital tickets to your shows as you're doing it, and then that is a double stream of income for the musicians who are on the road. Ticket sales, whatever the deal is, if you're dealing with a guarantee from the door, or a guarantee overall, and you have the digital ticket sales, we will take a very small percentage of that. We are very passionate about making sure that our artists are going to be retaining the vast majority of any profits they get. We're shooting for 90%. We'll see sort of nickel and dime kind of where exactly that falls out. But this is not about us getting rich. I don't need to be rich. If I can pay my bills and I can take my friends out to dinner occasionally and not look at my bank account, I've arrived. That's good. What I want to do is to be able to get musicians uh, really the respect they deserve and to be able to make a living doing what they do best, and that's making music.
Good luck to your goals, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
Sasha, and kindly recommend a book regarding our topic for today.
Certainly, there's a rock journalist who just came out with a book. Her name is Liz Pelly, so Lizpelly, and I'm just pulling this up here. The name of her book is Mood Machine. Mood
Mood
Machine
machine.
by Liz Pelly, and
Okay.
this is a book dealing with Spotify and what they're up to, how they are compensating their artists or not doing so. I can tell you that from the numbers from my band, we've been on Spotify for 6 years. Over the course of those 6 years, we've had our songs streamed 175,000 times, 175,138 to be specific. And for that amount of listening over 6 years, we have been paid $380. Not each of us, not everywhere, total. So that's $12. We're a five piece. That's $12 a year. I've made $1.03 per month being in my band because we were on Spotify. So something's got to change. Liz Pelly has gone through and done some really, really good investigative journalism. I definitely recommend the book. Go and check it out. And Liz, if you ever happen to see this, I'd love to sit down and interview you sometime, and let's figure out how to affect a paradigm shift.
Definitely, totally agree with you, Mr. Sasha. I think even podcaster on Spotify, they are treated not equal, I
Hmm.
think.
Absolutely.
So, so Mr. Sasha, uh, how do you personally navigate the balance between artistic integrity and commercial success?
Great question. Um, Here's the thing. When I was young, and especially coming from the punk rock world, selling out, the concept of selling out was huge and had an impact on me. And I don't think when I was younger I understood what that meant. Um, Now I would say selling out means being able uh, to make a living doing what you love, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. So here's the balance for me. If I am engaged in doing something and I am creating a piece of art and it is meaningful to me and I'm excited to share it with the world, if I can make money doing that, then I will absolutely do so. If I have somebody come in and say, hey, I will triple what you're being paid, but this isn't testing really well with this audience, so change this, this, and this. And then, oh, by the way, we don't like that. Cut that out. You can't do that. If it comes down to now, it is no longer the thing that I've created, and it has been a crowdsourced sort of a piece of art which has been sanitized. I am not okay with that, and I don't know that I would accept the money on that because it would not be me. It would not be a piece of me. And a lot of this questions like that, a lot of those are very um, they're abstract or they're rhetorical. If somebody would like to test me on that and say, "Hey, here's a certain amount of money, make some art, and then up the amount," we'll see what happens. But I would like to think that I would, so long as I am in creative control of what I'm up to, and at the end of the day, that piece of art is fulfilling what I set out for it to do, whether it's music, whether it's writing, whether it's video stuff or directing, any of that. I think that is where the balance lies. But you got to pay your bills at some point.
Indeed, everybody else need money, money, money. So,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Sasha, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast because Abstract Poetry is in its fifth season already. Abstract
Congrats.
Poetry. Thank you so much. Abstract Poetry in the second season. And of course, my book 101 review in its fifth season as well. Comedy 101
Amazing.
second season. Food 101 in its fifth season as well. Geography and Love Letters and third season. And my baby podcast, Mental Health 101. I have a music 101 too, Mr. Sasha, if you are interested to come and let's talk about music, music, music in
Let's do
its
it.
third season, as well as my movie 101 review, my Sex 101 and Science 101 in its first season. So please do listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Sasha, if you should change one thing in
Mhm.
the music industry today, what would it be and why?
So I'll tell you what, if I could change one thing in the music industry, um, it would be it would be it would be the user agreements and the contracts. What's the name of the industry? It is the music industry. And when you set up a system that allows you as an executive, as a non musician, as someone who is supposed to be in a support role to be able to push the music out to people, when you set that up so that it is to the detriment of the artists, that is unacceptable. And so I would absolutely change going into it the fact that I would love to have musicians keep their rights, keep the rights to their music. Just because you are going to put something out or you're going to help me distribute it does not mean now that you are going to own it. Famously, the Beatles didn't own their own songs for a very long time. And that is just ludicrous to me, to have created something that came out of your here and here, and then have someone be like, yeah, well, because we kind of paid for it and helped out, like, that's ours now, and we are going to do what we want with it. So I would like to return the power back to the artists themselves, and would like to change those agreements to reflect that.
Mr. Sasha Mereu, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your fair view?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Daniel, for the time here. This has been great. We would love for you to come and check out fairview.net. That is fairvu.net. We have an online store underneath the support tab where you can help purchase products that are going to support our work. Have a look at our videos on YouTube. And then, of course, we are on all of the socials. So we'll see you on Facebook and on Instagram and on TikTok and on LinkedIn and on Blue Sky and the rest of them. And keep looking forward. We hope to do great things, and we'll see you guys there.
Looking forward for your success, Mr. Sasha Moreau, and for the Fairview itself. I hope people all over the world will empower, especially musicians out there. Yes, people, let's support Mr. Sasha Moreau, because if you support him more and more and more, empowering breakthrough music to come. So, Mr. Sasha, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
More to come, people. See you soon.